Today we are looking at the new-ish Comica VM40. Now this is a shotgun mic I've been meaning to get for quite a while now, mainly because it's wireless. And not just wireless, internal 32-bit flow recording. Now, Comica says they have a range of around 200 meters. How true that is, I'm not sure, but we're going to test that out shortly. But before that, let's see what you get in the box. Now, there are two kinds of packages they do for the VM40. First one is a single mic package, where you basically get one mic. And the second one is a dual mic package. And the reason I haven't got two on me now is because I'm recording on one as we speak. So let me know your thoughts on the audio quality of this video. I've also got the DJI Mic Mini on me at the moment, so we can gauge between the two mics which sounds better. You know, they're two completely different mics doing different things, but I wanted to get a nice gauge between the two of general quality. So let's see what you get in the bag that it comes in. First of all, very nice looking bag, nice handle on the top. So obviously you get the two mics slotted in here in nice little foam slots. You also get the receiver, so you do have the option to connect directly to your camera and plug into the receiver if you wanted to run two mics wirelessly as well. And on the receiver there's obviously the USB charging port, headphone out, and a out to go into your camera. Now I'm going to touch on build quality just a little bit here. So the mics are made out of pretty solid, nice aluminium, feel really well built and pretty sturdy. Feel like I could drop it and it'll be absolutely fine. However, the receiver, not so much. Cheap plastic, feel a bit rubbish, and you know, if I dropped it onto concrete, I'm not sure if I would trust the outcome. However, obviously the main selling factor of these mics is the internal recording, which, before we move on, does record up to 32 gigabyte internal or 40 hours of recording, all at 32-bit flow uncompressed. So that is a pretty good option instead of using the receiver itself. Also in the top part here is we get the shoe for the microphones themselves, and also a couple of nice little holders to go on stands. Flipping it over into the front, we get our two dead cats. These feel really nice quality, super fluffy. Obviously with the Comica branding on as well. And we also get the branded mufflers. At the moment I'm recording without any mufflers or anything on, as I'm indoors. But for outdoors, I feel like these could take quite a bit of wind and it still sound pretty good. You also get the necessary cables you need with the microphones, like the jack cables to connect the VM40 directly to the camera if you want, or into the receiver, and some USB-Cs to go with it. Now, before we go out and do a bit of a range and audio quality test outside, I am just going to touch on the interface you get in here. So you get two buttons and a gain control knob at the bottom, which I do actually quite like. I feel it's really smooth, feels pretty expensive, and is just nice to operate. There is a slight fear if you're doing stuff handheld with it that you might knock it, so that is maybe a downside. Now I do wish they put a bit more controllability into this microphone. It's not the most obvious way to control things. Nothing really seems to make logical sense. You have one record button and one what is labelled as a safety button. I think there could have been a bit more thought gone into this. It also says nowhere in the manual about when you want to copy the audio directly from the mic to your computer that you have to press both buttons and hold them. Nowhere says that. I found that out online. So that would have been a nice thing to know. However, to record, you have to press and hold the record button, so there's not really a chance that you're going to accidentally stop recording if you're doing handheld stuff. So that I do like. I do also like the little LCD display you get here, which is basically just displaying your level and battery life on there, which is handy, to be fair. So now we've covered some of the features, let's head outside and test the range and see what it sounds like in an outdoor environment. So we're here in the great outdoors. We're gonna do a little distant test on this. Apparently it works up to 200 meters. I don't think so, but we're gonna keep walking backwards until I lose audio, and I'm going to keep talking and try not to fall over until the camera loses audio. If I turn around, it will, because That's what wireless mics do. But I have no idea what this sounds like. I have no idea if this is any good. I'd say I'm currently probably approaching 70 meters away, pushing 100. I'm keeping going. I'm keeping going. I'm going to turn around for a bit. See it. We're probably just over 100 meters away now. There are some twigs and trees in the way. Shouldn't cause a problem. But I'd say if it's still working up to this point, I'd call it a success. There are bits of foliage in the way, but I'm pretty happy with this as a test. So let's walk back towards the camera and see what we got. Next test is general audio quality. So probably about 100 feet away from a road at the moment. It's not too busy. I'm gonna test the grass. That should sound nice. Okay, now we're gonna test turning around, see if I lose any signal. I'm guessing I probably will, because most wireless mics do. And then this is gonna be the comparison between this audio, far and close, and the inbuilt 32-bit float. So this is inbuilt audio with the 32-bit float, and this is it, really loud. And then we're gonna walk back this way. So I think generally it's probably been a success. So let's head back and see what this turned out like, and see if we kept signal, see what the outdoor audio sounds like with this massive dead cat on. The audio quality, generally pretty good. Maybe a bit boomy, so I'll probably utilize the low pass filter built into the mic. However, the one thing I did notice was whilst having the dead cat on there, did get some knocking sounds. I don't know whether this was from the dead cat hitting the mic itself on the inside. I'm not sure where that was coming from, but there were quite a lot of knocking sounds. So just something to maybe bear in mind if you're planning to roam around with one of these and do sort of roaming interviews. Apart from that, pretty happy with these things, especially for the price point of only, I believe, about £340. I think 340, 350, something like that. So for two wireless condenser mics packed with a bunch of features, I think it's actually pretty good value for money. Like, subscribe, and comment if you have any comments on these mics, if you have some, or if there's anything you want to know about them, let me know below, and I will see you in the next one.